Hi friends, today we are making a watercolor bumblebee on a beehive, and it's very spring feel to it and very whimsical. So let's get started with your pencil. We are going to have our bee going in like a diagonal direction this way. So I'm going to start his head right about here. And so think of I like to say the shape of a rainbow, but I'm doing it on a diagonal here. Okay. I'm going to draw darker so that you can see it, but on yours, just sketch lightly so that if you make a mistake, it's easier to erase. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Like a half a circle. I call it a rainbow shape. That's going to be our head. And then we're going to, right underneath there, I'm going to make similar shape again. Remember, you just want to ever so lightly draw yours. And then we are going to, this is kind of reminds me of a peanut shape. So as you can see, it kind of curves in and then goes back out. Right. Now, we're going to be erasing some of these lines because the wings are going to cover it. But for now, right about over here, kind of where the indentation starts, that's where our wing is going to be, like this. So I'm just going to put my pencil here, and go up. And the same thing on this side. Try and make them similar to where they go. But this one kind of falls off the page. And then you're just going to go ahead and make your wing. Let's let those connect. And see what I meant? This here, I'm just going to erase this line now. I'm going to give you a moment to catch up to me. While you're sketching yours or erasing, I'll just make mine darker. And then you can go ahead and do the other one. And then underneath, like a little bit lower, just going to make another piece of the wing. And I'm just erasing both of those. We need antennas. And we need some stripes. So I'm going to go here and just following that same shape that's right here by the body, just following that again here. And then on this side, just going to follow it this way. So I'm following this shape. We're going to make that all black later. And then one more. And then I want to make those little legs that come out. So they're little, they're not very big. Here's one. And they have these little like hairy looking things coming off them. And then we'll do one on this side. And then we need some legs coming off this way. And there's another little one. Another little leg. Those little spiky things. And we're going to stick a leg on this side. Never really looked at a bee close enough to notice all the little joints on the legs or the spiky things. So and then we're going to do that same little one on this side. Just kind of comes down. So I'm going to give you a moment to erase anything you want to, make any changes to it. And then we will move on. Let's make this one a little bit smaller. All right, so moving on, we are going to be using a Sharpie. So let's start with the head, and we're just going to trace our pencil marks. At the top, I'm just going to make it a little bit thicker. So I just go back over it again like that. Okay. Now, the head is going to be black. So go ahead and start filling it in like this. Now I want to leave just some of the white showing here towards the bottom, but it's up to you. If you like it just solid black, that is just fine too. But now I'm going to go back through towards the top and make that all solid black. I want some tiny little fine hairs sticking out. So I'm just going to go back through. They're not all the same length. They're not all going in the same direction. Like that. Now the legs are little bumpy legs. I'm going to color them in. Just going to leave a little white mark on the side, almost like a reflection. Same thing on this side. Just going to leave a little reflection. Okay, so we're going to skip this space because we're going to use the yellow watercolor for that. And over here, we're going to color all of this in. Notice the direction I'm coloring in. And then there's little hairs that are going to cross over above the black section. You'll be able to see them on top of the yellow. Now look at mine. Some are shorter, some are longer. You don't want them all the same. And then on this side, they're going to go this way. Like that. So this section's going to be yellow, and then the last section we're going to make it black. And so those little hairs are going to cross over into the yellow again. Okay, moving on. We're at the home stretch of this part. You're doing a good job. This takes some patience. Okay, so before I do something to the wings here, I'm just going to take my pencil and use the eraser. I'm just going to erase any pencil lines that are still showing. Okay. And then on the wings, I'm just going to make some more lines. So I'm just going to go like this. Down, down, down. Same thing on this side. Down, down, down. And here, do a couple. And then another row up here. I'm going to go down, down, down. And then I'm going to add just a few little dots. Okay, let's put our marker away for a little bit. And I'm going to make that look of the honeycombs. So let me show you the easiest way to do this. We'll do a little section of them here, a little section of them here. So you start with, think of an upside down V, or the start of a triangle. Then we're going to make two lines that just go straight up and down. Here, I'll make mine darker so you can see it. You sketch yours lightly. And then make this shape, the V, going the right way. Okay. And then I'm going to do another one. So I'm going to start a line here. Okay. And then we already have the start of the V. So I only needed one more side to it. Another line straight up and down, and try and make them about the same length. And then another V. Hope that made sense. I'm going to let you look at it for a minute and try and copy. So on this next one, we have the start of a triangle here, or the upside down V we called it. Okay, then two lines, and then another V. It's cool, right? Okay, and on this one we have the start of the upside down V, so you just need one more line like that. We already have the side line, so we just need one more up and down, and then we need another V. And then we already have the entire upside down V here, so I'm just going to make the two lines. And then this one kind of gets cut off by the wing, so it'll just look like that. And then let's do a part of one right about here. So I'm going to make the upside down V. Pretend there's a line coming up there. And on this one, I'm just going to leave it open. I'm just going to leave the V like that. Okay. And then I'm going to do a few of those, maybe like 3 coming out the bottom. So on this one, I'll make a line and a line and a V. And then that upside down, 2 lines and a V. Upside down V. You guys are becoming pros at this. Another line, another V. Like that. So that'll be it for that side. And then we'll start over here and we'll add a few on this side. So let's go ahead and make a letter V in our line. I'm going to make a few where it just looks like unfinished. Like that. It's kind of like a pattern. Now over here, let's make a flower. You can make any kind of flower you want. I'm going to start with a little circle, tiny little circle, and then I'm just going to make some petals. Like that. And then I think I'm going to make another little small flower here. And then I want to make another flower this big right here. So I'm just going to make a little circle. And then I'm going to make 2 little flowers on that side. All right. So again, we're just going to take our marker and quickly trace this. These lines don't have to be perfect. They can be broken where they don't all connect. They just kind of accent the pencil marks. Like I said, this is kind of like whimsical, not very tight, it's very loose. And you could always pause it too if I'm going too fast. In some of these, I'm just going to make some extra lines, just following the shape. Like that. And then once you're done, if you want, if there's any like in the flower, I'm erasing some of the pencil marks. I'm not going to erase the ones by the little honeycomb areas. Those could stay. Just fixing the ones near the flowers. Okay, time for the magic of watercolors. So let's go grab those. Okay, I'm going to start with my lightest color. I'm using a little brush, and we're going to dip our brush into the yellow watercolor. I'm using the liquid watercolors. And let's start painting right up here. That first section. And then we'll go do the second section. I'm going to let it spill into, now that I barely have any left on my brush, I'm going to put it in that section up here. A little bit down here. Okay. All right, so we're still using yellow, and I'm going to put it in these, but I'm going to do it loosely, which means that I'm not going to be like filling in the whole thing. I'm just kind of blotting it on here and there loosely. Okay, so now I'm going to dip my brush. It's dirty, but I'm going to dip it in the water. I just want a little water on it. And then I'm going to go beyond the shapes we made. And because I'm dipping it in the water only, it's just going to be lighter. Going around the wings. So again, right now, I haven't put my brush in any more of the yellow. It's just got some yellow on it still from earlier. This is just me using water. See all the different, it's variations of that shade now. So it's like lighter. And then if I drag my brush into some of the wet yellow, it'll get a little darker. Okay. Now I'm going to dip my brush in the water first because I don't want this shade too dark, and then I'm going to put my brush in a tiny bit of orange. Okay, and I'm just going to blot it on these to get a lot of the paint off my brush before I start blending it. Okay, Now that most of the paint's off my brush, I'm just going to go ahead and smudge that orange into the little honeycomb areas. You want it to overlap on top of the yellow. I want just a tiny bit more. See, it's always better to start with a little and build on that, and you could add more. It's very hard to take it away. So I'm just putting a little bit more orange here and there. There, I like that. And then I'm going to dip my brush in the water and a touch of orange. So I got water and orange. And then I'm going to let that spill over into the background a little. Just like we did with the yellow. So again, I need more, so I'm going to put water on my brush, touch of orange, and then just let it spill over. All right, and I'm going to dip my brush in the water, and then the last color I'm using is red. So I want a little bit of red on my brush with water, and I don't want these too dark, so I'm going to just blot a little bit off and wipe it on here first on my big flowers. Now I'm going to dip my brush only in water so I can spread this out. Because if I didn't do that with a lot of water, it would have been this very, very bright red. And I really just didn't want that for this picture. I wanted it to be like pale. Oh, I need more water. There we go. And then for the other two, well, there's 3 of the little flowers. We'll make those a little bit darker. So get your water and your red. We'll just build on it to make these a darker shade. So I'll go back over it again in a minute. Okay. So now that it's really wet, I'm not dipping my brush in the water anymore. I'm just putting the pure red on it and doing that one more layer. And it's okay if it goes out of it a little bit. I told you we wanted it to be like a loose painting. It started to bleed into here a little bit, so I'm just going to spread it out. Just wiping whatever's left on my brush in the bigger flower. And then with just some water, I already have a little red on my brush, so that's good. I'm just going to kind of overlap this color in there a little bit. I'm going to be careful and try not to get it on my wings. Put it in here. Just overlapping that red in a few places in the background. Okay, I want to add some orange, so I'm just going to dip my brush a little bit in the orange, and I just want to add a little bit in here. Coming out. And then with a little water, I'll blend it a little more. Just a little bit of water. There. And then I think this is a really fun part. We're going to make, just to add to the whimsicalness of it, we're going to make little splatters, okay? So I'm going to take my brush and dip it in the straight red. I'm going to put a lot of red on my brush, and then I'm just going to hit the brush and just let it splat like that. More red. And let it splat. I'm trying to do it kind of mostly on the edges. There. You can do that. If you had fun with that, you can do it with the orange too. Just put a lot of orange on your brush and then just a little splat. Don't go too crazy because it's supposed to just add a little bit to the painting. You don't want the whole thing to be like splats. And there you have it. Our beautiful bumblebee, our spring painting on the honeycomb is all finished. I hope you had fun with me today. Keep painting, and I will see you next time. Bye.